Just another day in paradise. Oy vey. I'm Ulysses. I'm looking at games from a design perspective, trying to pick out what things I think work well and what could be better. Have you ever wanted to be a goose? No, you probably haven't. Well, now you can, in this stealthy puzzle game called Untitled Goose Game. Honk honk. They keep things very simple. I just love the movement in this game. Just walking around and seeing how your simple button presses make the portrayal of the goose feel so lifelike. It's wonderful. Check out these little thought and speech bubbles they use to communicate people's intentions. And the cute pencil-drawn lines that both call attention to actions in the game and act as a cursor to select items. It's a really nice visual language. And it's complemented by the piano, like an accompaniment to a silent film or an episode of Peanuts with Charlie Brown on screen. When the game gets intense, the louder, bassier notes are pounded out on the piano. When something weird happens, a few notes of piqued curiosity. Untitled Goose Game is somewhat linear, where you have to complete most of the objectives in each area to gain access to the next. This task list keeps you focused, which is especially important if you play multiplayer with another silly goose friend. But the task list only lists outcomes and not methods. So, just like in the game Goat Simulator 3, which I made a video on previously, the simplicity of the game quickly becomes chaotic with multiple players as you both become agents of chaos, and the narrative flow of the game gets a little diluted by two crazy geese hatching two different plots. What I think was the most interesting thing about the design of this game, though, was how it made me feel about the people in this world. You are a goose, we know that. And most of the objectives in the game are about fucking with people. And it feels good to fuck with people. It's Schadenfreude at people's expense. Honking loudly to make the groundskeeper hammer his thumb, the boy walking around without his glasses that you stole, smashing a gong to make someone spit out their tea, and then throwing their slippers into the fountain. We all know how terrible it is when socks and shoes get wet. And pushing a bucket onto a guy's head. On one hand, we view these people as robots, automata. I mean, that's how they're programmed. But what does that say about how we view people's internal monologue? Look at this woman thinking about fetching the broom when she sees you. You can practically hear her thought process. Huh, there's a goose in my store. I'll get the broom. And what does it mean that we are so entertained by messing with such simple machines? I am just a machine, and games are just numbers in a complicated spreadsheet that I enjoy twiddling around. On the other hand, it's so beautiful because we can't help but empathize with the people we're tormenting. And yet we can't help but enjoy how it plays out. I think because the goose movement is done so well, and the generally stuck-upness of most of the characters feels so relatable, that it's really easy to just imagine how crazy it'd be if this happened in real life. These funny stories that you create while playing, that almost feel like they really happened, are why Untitled Goose Game is so enjoyable to play. Just imagine if any of these things happened in real life. A goose takes your keys, throws them in the pond, then closes the door behind you as you go off to retrieve them. When you finally make it back with your keys, you discover that the goose has harvested your carrots for you. You run from an angry goose into a phone booth. When the coast looks clear, you come out, only to see that same goose broadcasted on every television in the store window. A goose makes off with your statue and tries to take its place. You're like, obviously you are a goose, and not my statue. But shortly, you forget, and you come back to reattach the statue's bow tie, and the thing you think is a statue is like, honk. A goose comes up to your dinner table and looks beautiful and majestic. So you give it a flower, and then a whole flock of geese just starts angrily honking at you for no reason. The game is full of special moments like this. Go out and create some for yourself and your goosey friend. Honk honk.